Yes, people, and welcome back to another video on the Bridge YouTube channel where we bring you all things Chelsea. I'm your host with the most, the Bridge 258, here today to discuss what I would like to call quite, an interesting interview, to say the least, that we got today, that I thought was very important in regards to, some of the stuff that's been talked about in regards to Chelsea Football Club and, some of the stuff that we've discussed on this channel previously. So I really wanted to go through the article, some of the points they've made. I want to discuss some of that with everyone around and see, what is going on, what is cooking, what's the chat's for in it, and like maybe I can give my 2 cents on the situation too at the end of the day. So hopefully we can get some of that stuff going at the end of the day, and we can have a great discussion in regards to that too. I'm not going to be doing that alone, of course. I've got myself my fellow co-host that you see on Casually FC, Oliver. How you doing, bro, man? How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I mean, the international break's been a bit boring, but hey, at least Man United are bringing the circus before we come back. So,
Listen, I have to say, man, I was saying this on stream yesterday as well, bro. But like, honestly, for me, man, Manchester United have done us, a lot of good, man. You know what I'm saying? All of that stuff that's been happening at that club, has been hiding us
and
for.
by the way, just quickly, when I say circus, I don't mean the Anthony thing because that's obviously a very serious
Of
thing.
course,
I'm talking more about Maguire and Sancho.
Yeah. Big up to you, Jacob. Big up to my guy. I think I'll call you S. Big up Chelsea. Did not see or hear about the interview. Yeah, so there was essentially Chelsea themselves did a piece from the Chelsea directors, from both Lawrence Stewart and Paul Winstanley. They did a joint interview, sort of like discussing, the situation about the club, what they're trying to do, their school of thoughts, their thoughts and opinions, and what the direction they're trying to bring the club. I'm actually going to pull it up now because that's what we're going to probably be discussing at the end of the day when it comes down to it. And I was very interested because I'm pretty sure I've spoken to Oliver before, but like I watch Italian football, for example, so it's quite common in Italian football, for example, or even French football, even some of these other European games, right, where a sporting director will literally come forward, he will literally discuss the plan that the team has, with the public. Usually you have like newspaper journalists actually grilling them usually most of the time. It's not usually done within their own in-house thing where they go on and discuss what the plan is. So this is very rare. This is something that actually is done at Brighton, by the way, but it used to happen. I think it happens at Brighton. I think at the beginning of the season where they have the fan forum, where like, the CEO will come, the sporting director will come, and they'll just discuss what the project at Brighton is essentially. So this is another thing we've kind of stolen from Brighton. I can't lie to you. So, what were you surprised? Were you surprised by this, Oliver? Quickly, while I change headphones.
I mean, I wasn't. I mean, I wasn't surprised because, obviously they got hired in around sort of late last year, and they started their roles in December/January. So they are still relatively new to the job. So we do have a few things that we need to hear from them. They're in big positions in the club, so it's good to hear from them. But at the same time, I am surprised because, like you said, this isn't really something we see too much in English football. So, I don't mind hearing it because I'd like to know where the club's going. I think it's a good thing. So we want to get into it, right?
110%. Yeah, but guys, before we do so, make sure to get the likes up, make sure to get the subscribes up. Almost at 1K. You know what I mean? It's literally just 50 and it's tiny bit of change that I've got left in it. So if you would help out your brother here, and because then I'll actually get fully monetized once I reach 1K officially. So it'd be very helpful to do so. But yeah, so this is some of the quotes I'm going to read about. So it says, we knew there was let me get my voice ready. We knew there was going to be a big transition, starts with Stanley. No chance to sit back and relax, that's for sure. Do we think we could oversee a Premier League record of transactions? Probably not. But the average age of the squad was high. We had players with contract issues, which had been inherited from an ownership change. And then there were players who made it clear they wanted to leave, that needed to be addressed. So I think apparently, so they're trying to give, I think, the reason behind why there's been such a high turnover at Chelsea, essentially. And for them, it seems that the squad age was too high. Contract issues, apparently, were another part of it. And the final part was players that made it clear to want to leave. So, like, who do you think that is, actually? I think that's a good question to start with.
I mean, we know a few of them, Lukaku, Ziyech. I think Kovacic, there were some rumblings that he wanted to leave. Oh God, why am I taking myself back to this? This just makes me sad and makes me think about last season. For God's sake. um, yeah, I can't think of any off the top of my head, but it is quite obvious. We knew this. We saw the reports from last season that some players were disgruntled. Aubameyang as well because he wasn't getting any game time.
Oh yeah, of
So
course, yeah.
people like that, and we saw the reports last season. So now this is only further validating that. But we didn't need the validation. We already knew this before anyway.
Yeah, so something that I think is very interesting is the average age of the squad was high. Like, was it really that high? Like, I'm trying to think about the players who had. Who were the guys that were kind of old? What, Aubameyang, Lukaku wasn't playing for us necessarily.
So
Koulibaly, Tia.
If we're talking from the beginning of last season, I want to include Jorginho in that because this is because they were here. Yeah. That's one of the things they did. They got rid of Jorginho. So Jorginho was 30, I think. Kante was 31. Kovacic 29, and two of those are injury prone, so they're not going to get any better with their age. So, I know you said Silva, but we gave him a contract extension, so that's kind of irrelevant. Who else? Azpilicueta, obviously.
Koulibaly is another one. Probably you can make the argument.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, to be honest, I don't know how realistic it was. I don't know if they thought they could get rid of him at first. I imagine they probably would have been quite surprised that Saudi came in for him. But hey, he is definitely one of those because we're using a 4-year contract. He would have been 34, 35 by the time that ended. So, he's definitely one. And in terms of the attack, like you say, Aubameyang, Ziyech is 30 now, I think. Mendy was 30, although goalkeepers are a bit of a different spectrum when it comes to age.
Yeah.
That's about it, really.
That's what I'm saying to you. Even if you did, I feel like even if you did say that, okay, you remove that sort of section, there's not really that many players afterwards that, I definitely did think the squad was quite young. The Chelsea squad was quite young. I don't know. Maybe it was just me, but
yeah, I mean, the problem I have with the way they've gone about it is even if you want to say, okay, the squad age was really high, what they've done is they've done a complete they've gone to the other end of the spectrum and made it 21 years old, the average age now. I think they could have hung around more 23, 24. That would have probably been a bit better. But hey, we've done it now. The transfer window's over, so it's up to Poch now to work with it.
Fair enough. I think this is still with Stanley still talking here, by the way. So this is whenever I say I'm gonna make sure for everyone whenever I speak. So with Stanley, one of the comments that he made was the volumes of play out, the volumes of play in, the turnaround has been significant, explained Stuart. But there were certain things we had to achieve for the club and for the group this summer. Because results on the pitch at the end of last season made it clear it wasn't working, we had to make changes to get the club in a better position. We feel we've done that. So I think so. Apparently, the results of last season has clearly been the reason behind why they've tried to at least bring in as many players as possible. But with Stanley, this is Stanley here talking essentially about the coaching situation. So he said, Lawrence and I sat long and hard with the ownership and discussed the type of person and the attributes a head coach would need to have success at this club. It was a lengthy process and we interviewed several different candidates and different types of people. All right. So I don't know. It had to be the right fit in terms of person, the leadership we needed, the ability and track record of development players. Big up to my guy Eugene quickly. The record of developing players and of building a team that can compete and perform in the Premier League. These are all things we were looking for. So what do you take from that? Compete and perform. Compete and perform.
I don't know.
That's the thing for me. When you hear something like compete and perform, it's kind of interesting because surely the aim is to win. No, compete. I would have thought the better thing to be saying compete and win. Maybe perform can probably mean performance.
I mean, unless they mean compete this season or compete in the short term, because we're not winning anything in the short term. That's obvious. I mean, just look at the way we started the season.
100%. I definitely, but the thing is, when you're saying compete and perform, usually that means that you're expecting something this season. You know what I'm saying? If they're saying that, that means they must be expecting top 4 from Poch this season for me. That's something that I would
So
definitely say.
they should be. We've got one game a week. We've trimmed down the squad. You know, it's the perfect conditions for Poch to find the right balance within the team. And this is why you and me have been so angry at the way that the start of the season has been, because we're just like flushing away opportunities to pick up points when we really. And you know, we got an international break, and everyone's going, "Oh yes, this is his time to find out what the formula is." Like, no, you have a whole week between games, and we're just like we're taking it for granted. That's the problem.
100%, bro. I do agree with that for sure. It was a huge okay, so with Stanley said, this is from Stanley. It was a huge appointment for the club and everyone here at Cobham. Excuse me. Says with Stanley. We thought Mauricio was the right fit, and we're even more impressed having spent these early months with him. The way he has gone about it day to day, he has had an impact with the players, staff, Lawrence and I, and the ownership. There's a lot of heavy emphasis on the ownership, you know. Like, does it necessarily matter? But you know what? We'll continue on this one. Throughout the summer window, which closed on September the 1st, communication between Stuart with Stanley and Pochettino was constant. Countless conversations took place at Cobham and during our pre-season tour of the United States. The work undertaken on the squad was collaborative. It has resulted in a new look men's squad, the average age of which is a little over 22 years old. It is a group built to compete under Pochettino in the Premier League this season. But listen, when you say something like that, yeah, this is why for me, yeah, I don't know yet if it's right to say compete. Like, do you know what that means? You're expecting to compete this season. That's what it basically means, you know. Like,
but this, you can't act like this. You can't act like this isn't what Poch has been saying himself. You know, we've gone over his press conferences where he's saying, you know, that there's no time to like adjust and we have to win now. You know, he said these, and he tried to backtrack against Nottingham Forest, and I knew that was going to happen because, like, what he's saying, what he was saying, and what these directors are now saying, it's unrealistic. No one can expect this. Just look at our squad. You know, we don't even have a left winger. We have Ben Chilwell. We're not competing for anything.
Yeah, but then why come out of this today then and say that? Because then that's the thing for me. Like, you know, I don't disagree that we should not be, you know, what's the word in English? I'm trying to look for the word in English because I usually it's the one. Like, if we are saying that we need to compete, right? And like they believe that we should be competing this season because this is literally what's. And then, you know, I'm not sure. That's what, you know what, we're gonna let me finish the article.
I'll tell you what, it's probably what I think it is. It's probably a little bit of appeasement for the fans just to get them in a good mood, and it's also a little bit of just like, you know, hoping for the best at the same time, because that's all we can do. You know, this isn't a certainty. We have to hope here.
Fair enough. The ownership has support. So this is from Stuart. The ownership has supported us bringing in the players we have, says Stuart. Talent we have in the group is really exciting and dynamic day to day is really pleasing. This is one of our objectives, something we wanted to develop after last season. So clearly something was not right. It seems last season in the day to day. Or I mean, to be honest, from what we were hearing, too many players, guys weren't even training properly. So yay. The communications of the players you've brought in and the coaching staff is one we're really happy with. We've got a lot of talent. Now we need to let that develop and grow. With Stanley, as there will always be flexibility in terms of the players you bring to the club, whether that is their personality, squad role, or age. This summer, a lot of players are brought in who are under 23 years old, but many of these already have a lot of top level experience.
Really? I ain't seeing that. I can't lie. I'm not seeing that.
This summer. I mean,
yeah. No, this summer. I mean, Caicedo's had one full season in the Premier League. Who else?
That's how I'm trying to think.
Disasi's not under 23. He's 25. How long has he been playing Lyon's first team?
But remember, I don't even think Lyon had Europe, if I'm not mistaken, last season either. So quite even putting them in there. I don't think they had. Yeah, they didn't have Europe, if I'm not mistaken, Lyon last season either. So.
And also, technically, Gusto was a January signing. So they're talking about summer here.
Yeah.
Who else?
Sanchez, not even. You can't bet at him.
I mean,
But
he's had like two. He's had like two. Yeah, but that's not even a lot, is it? You know, he's had 2 seasons. That's
yeah,
better than one for
Petrovic,
Caicedo.
no.
I don't know anything
Ugochukwu
about Petrovic.
maybe because
Uh,
Ugochukwu maybe because he's played in Europe and had like 14 starts for Rennes,
I
right?
mean, you're
Premier
Mr.
League.
Rennes, so you chat about
But even then, that's like,
that.
you know what I'm saying? You know, listen, I love Reds, but I can't even back that one still. But like Nico Jackson, maybe because obviously they played Villarreal was in
No, he had like
I think it was
he,
either you
he
had
was only
Conference or
starting for
European League
half the
football, if I'm not
season.
mistaken. Yeah, but like he was there in the beginning, but it was like somewhere I think in September, October he got injured, didn't it? So you can maybe he missed a
Cole
few months
Palmer
because
doesn't have
of that
any
one.
experience.
Maybe what if you're gonna include Super Cup maybe on that one on Cole Palmer, maybe
Oh,
being
great!
around the Man City squad,
One game.
maybe. But
Nah,
other than
this
that,
is
like
this isn't adding
if
up, man. You can see what I
yeah,
mean, right?
because yeah, and that's what I'm saying to you. Because even if you were to add like someone like Disasi, for example, right? Like Disasi
Yeah,
would
but
be
he's
if
not
he had
under
said
23.
if
They're talking
yeah,
about
that's what
under
I'm saying to
23s
you.
here.
But if they had said like if he had not said under 23, Disasi would have actually helped them out a lot here because he's played very European League games a ago. So it's crazy, man. Hey ho, man. He moved because like I'm pretty sure I'm not mistaken anyone else that I'm not forgetting, right? No, I'm
I,
not forgetting anyone else.
I don't
Well,
know, man.
Nkuku maybe even Nkuku can't add because he's 20. He's
He's
over 25.
26, 27, isn't he? Right, whatever.
He's 26. He just turned 26, so you can't even add
Yeah.
him. So it's, honestly, like I'm not sure what they were cooking there, man. I can't lie to you, man.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, man, that was not. Yeah, man, the maths is not mathing on that. The mathing on that one. Uh, crazy one. With the group of players, the excitement is building. You can feel it daily. There will be setbacks. There always are, and it will take time. New players, new head coach, different philosophy, and many of the players not being able to compete a full preseason for one reason or another. It won't happen overnight. That's normal. But we are all excited about what the short, medium, and long term looks like with this group, with Maurizio leading it. So clearly, there's obviously, I'm assuming there's clearly short term, medium to long term plans, right? I'm assuming the medium to long term plan probably is to win the league. The short term probably is getting back into Champions League football. That's probably what I would say there.
I mean, there's going to have to be some sort of short-term plan. I mean, we saw Potter get sacked last season. That clearly was because a short-term plan wasn't met, even though they wanted to judge him by years and not months and weeks. You know, we know this already. They do have some sort of target, whether or not that's public or not. You know, they do have expectations.
Mm-hmm. We want players that want to fight for the club. They want to fight every day for each other, for results, for the supporters, for the staff. The club knows how to win. It knows how to succeed. So it's important to bring in the players that align with building something special here, and we will get stronger as a team and club as we head deeper into the season. The hard work doesn't. Okay, so what do you think about those quotes? Those ones that I just spoke about here. I like that sort of school of thought of like trying to bring in guys that will play 100% for the team at the end of the day. That's what we need.
No, yeah, I mean that is true. It's also a bit of fan service because last
Yeah, of
season a
course.
lot of players couldn't give a damn, and fans picked up on that and booed them in the stadiums and
Well,
went on there on
I hear
Twitter,
that, man.
etc. So it's a bit of both of that really. I don't really care. Just win me games. That's all I want.
I hear you, bro. That's what some of the random has been saying as well. To be honest, I hear that too. Um, the hard work doesn't stop with Stanley Stewart. Now the transfer window is closed. First, they will reflect and review the transfer business conducted in the summer. Then, planning for the future window begins. Squad building is a never-ending process, a continuous craft. We will plan 2 transfer windows in advance, explained with Stanley. We can't be reactionary. We've got to look at the whole squad, the players that are out on loan, and opportunities we can give to players in the academy. This is the player puzzle we've got to pull together. Stewart continues, we'll go through the review and reflection process now as we continue the plan. Then as we get closer to January, we look at things again. Is there anything urgent we need? Is anything pressing? Or is there an interesting opportunity? So I like the fact that they're planning ahead, 2 transfer windows ahead, because that's something that I would definitely say, that the club was not doing last time. Because like we were doing too many short term planning. That's something that I would definitely say for sure when it comes to Chelsea. So
No, of
I'm
course
happy
not. We
that at
had
least,
like a striker every single summer for a bit, didn't we?
bro,
Literally.
bro, that was literally, bro. Even like when we had towards the end of the like Robin era, like all we were doing was just like getting in players that we needed in positions that we had lost the season at the same season. We weren't even like helping the ball, updating the ball at all.
I know. I mean, yeah, I can't
Honestly,
say much more than that, really.
I don't. This thing about opportunities is interesting. I don't know, I don't know what they're expecting because, I'll be real, man. There's nothing. I don't know, man. There's nothing in the market right now that I would say is an opportunistic one at this point, but we'll see.
I mean, it depends what you define as an opportunity. I mean, I don't want it to be the Roman version of an opportunity where we just buy Kai Havertz, even though Lampard didn't want him and he never fit our team. That's a terrible opportunity.
Definitely, for sure, man.
I don't want any of that. Like, if there's a genuine opportunity where it's like, okay, he fits our team, maybe. Obviously consider it.
Fair enough. One of the major objectives we have to build is to build a highly skilled team here. Explains Stuart. A football club, as football clubs develop, everyone needs more support, more information. We want to build on that relationship with the women's team and the academy to make sure all of our staff are working together on achieving best practices. There has been a lot of work in that area that doesn't get seen because transfers take all the headlines. But we are happy with the progress we've made. The bigger picture is to make sure the training center here at Cobham is at the forefront of training centers. We have to support from the ownership to keep moving forward on that front. Right, what they're going to make Cobham bigger than is that? That's probably what I'm assuming. That's interesting. Do we have I'm not even sure. Do we have a young girl academy? I'm not sure, right?
I haven't got a clue.
That one, I'm not. I actually don't think so because if we did, I would have. I'm pretty sure that would have been one of the major things advertised. Because
I'll Google it. Hang on a sec.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure not. Because the way they're talking, I feel like they're trying to planning. I think there must be some sort of plan to build a Chelsea girls academy or something like that. Because we already have the academy for the young kids, and then they go through the stages, right?
Oh no, there is. I've just googled it. I've seen a thing on the website for trials.
Yeah, so they must be. They probably are looking to expand that or either strengthen it or expand it because I know Barcelona have a really good women's one, by the way, which is why they dominate that. What's it called? La Liga. The La Liga.
Yeah, they're unbelievable. They're the best team in the world, aren't they?
Yeah, they're the best team in the world.
Not just Spain.
Yep. So we have undertaken this summer again improving facilities for the women's team. See, that's as I said. That we we're going to be undertaking this summer to improve facilities for the women's team. At Cobham. More is in the pipeline as Emma Hayes attempts once again to guide her side to the Women's Super League title. Emma has done an incredible job and created a very strong culture, says Stanley. We are keen to soak as much of that as we can. We want to give a broader resources to the women's team and learn from the success Emma has had. Fair enough. We will support her and her team moving forward as we look to continue the growth of the women's game. The work done by those in the academy also remains pivotal to the club, present and future. Someone Reece James was named club captain, Levi Cole signed a new contract, and 4 other academy graduates are part of the first team squad. Reece is someone that you can see has a real passion for the club, Stuart said. He understands what the club is about. He has seen success here and wants it again. So as a reference for the players, for the supporters, and the wider public, he represents Chelsea really well. Mauricio was really heavily involved in the decision and has developed a very strong working relationship with Reece, which is great. And I think Neil Barth is there, Jim Fraser, Yeah, that's pretty much. All right. Yeah, because I don't think there's anything else really to talk about that. But what are your overall thoughts on hearing that, bro? What are your overall thoughts upon hearing that?
I mean, we've gone through it. There's definitely a fair few inconsistencies there, or at least things that we interpret to be inconsistencies. But hey, listen, I'm not going to complain as long as the signings they continue to make and that have made already. I'm not going to complain if they do well. Just get back on the right track first of all. That's my main priority. But I've been happy with the signings for the most part so far, and that includes January. The only one I'm really questioning is Mudryk, really, but the rest of them have been pretty good. There's definitely something there. We just now need to put them in a system and an environment where they can actually develop and showcase themselves. So that's my only concern going forward, to be completely honest.
Yeah, fair enough, man. Because like, I hear you, man. A lot of the stuff that we were hearing, I think it kind of makes sense at the end of the day. There's not, I don't really have that many disagreements with it, to be honest. It's just that we get it's a puff piece in the sense that they're trying to like obviously convey what they think they're trying to do to the fans, to the club, and to like everyone else. Essentially, like we're not
I
trying to do
think
anything stupid.
I think the only thing I can really say to that is that like the one thing I want to take away from this and I want to see them do in the future, where they said about like, oh, we're bringing in like different. We want to bring in like different ages. I want to see that. I want to see different like a mixture of ages because seemingly the report said that we were only looking for 25 or under this summer, and that has been the pattern. So I want to it's difficult. We do need to bring in more experience. And experience that can also help us in the right positions. We don't want like an Aspilicueta who, yeah, he's got experience,
Yeah,
but he can't help us in his given role. We need the mixture of
100%.
quality and know-how. So I want to see that in coming transfer windows because right now this squad is dangerously young. We've got players on loan as well that if they were here, the average age would be even younger. So
Oh
that's
yeah,
one
it's
thing to work
definitely
on maybe.
possible. Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't really talk about the multi-club model, but like it was actually breaking news this morning that Chelsea are like trying to buy Sporting Lisbon apparently. So like a minority stake in there essentially to be essentially use them as a what I would call like help develop more talent at the club. So well, I'm honestly interested because we know they've been looking at Portugal as a market for them to buy and be able to get players as well. So I'm not surprised at the end of the day, man. And honestly, bringing from what I've seen from Sporting, they've been doing a really great job in regards to that. In regards to be getting talented players and then selling them off for high wages, much like how Benfica does. So I wouldn't really be um disappointed. What are your thoughts, bro?
I'm just wondering how that's going to work because like Sporting one of the best clubs in Portugal, so they're going to be a regular in the Champions League, and I'm just looking at I'm like
No, no. So
where does it?
if it's a minority stake, then it's not an issue. It can't be
Oh
like
yeah, okay, because I was thinking about conflict of interests and stuff like that. But then even how's that going to work with? I wonder how that's going to work with Strasbourg. If we can get them into the UCL and we're there, that's going to be a bit of a sticky
that's why
situation.
that's why you're never going to see them in the Champions League. The club is probably going to make them a Europa League contender team, essentially, if you know what I mean. That's what the club's going to do. And I know that also the UEFA are trying to like what's it called make it more lenient for like clubs that are owned by like maybe the same ownership to be able to play, if that makes sense.
All right, fair enough. But yeah, I'm happy
Yeah.
with that. To get a stake in them guys. They're a good club. They already have some good players there, and they're a big name in Portugal, so they'll attract the talent. So it's pretty good if we can get a relationship going with them guys.
100%. Just quickly, obviously, there's been a picture here of Diego Moreira for Leon. He's there he is. He's going to be wearing number 19, just like MM19 at Chelsea. So big ups to him.
No, 19 is Costa, man. I'm not doing that.
No, what do you mean 19, man? 19.
Well,
He's got the 19 number.
no, I'm going. When I hear 19, it's not Mount, it's Costa.
Oh my goodness. Oh,
Gonna be shameless like that.
Yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you. Yo, so obviously, I don't know if you heard the comments by Pochettino. I know you and I were discussing it about Chilwell left wing. It seems that's probably like
no.
it seems that that's what's happening, So he said that, but like before we get into that, he actually said that the Lavia injury was that he twisted his ankle. Like he's not made it out to be that deep.
Yeah, supposedly so, because weren't the reports that it was a ligament damage.
That's what I'm hearing though from like the Fraser guy from the Darko. They're saying that it's a ligament damage, but Pochettino saying he's only twisted his ankle, so like he's making it out to be like it's not that deep. So,
fair enough then. That's a lot more reassuring.
But yeah, man. Obviously, apparently, Reece James is not going to be available apparently until the next break. Apparently, so
I think what they said was that he could be available just before it. In which case, don't play him. Just let him rest
He's not
up,
playing. They're not
man.
gonna play. Yeah. But like,
I've heard that before, and then Potter's throwing him straight in. Like, you know, I'm a bit wary right now. You know, I need to see it to believe it.
yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah. Obviously, you know, what are your thoughts? Like, obviously, I know you don't want this to happen, but where is my file so I can just literally show this to everyone? But like, Chilwell left wing, bro. I think it's happening tomorrow. I wanted to obviously get your takes on it first. Like, obviously, I know you're not too pleased about it. Obviously, the manager's even made a couple of comments in regards to it too. So, like, what are your thoughts on it, bro? Go ahead. Like, do you think this is gonna be like I've been saying that, you know, that for me it feels like, you know, he's trying to like make himself, you know, prepare for failure. You know what I'm saying? He's like setting himself up here, essentially, for me.
In what sense?
Like, the more he continues to do this here, the more, like, you know, like he's setting him up for himself for failure, because like he knows the outcome.
Oh yeah, that. Yeah, I mean, I've said this before. It's horrible. And listen, I know he tried to justify it. I don't care, man. Like, oh, he created the most chances. Yeah, well, so did Mount, and yet we were all asking for a creative player for 4 years. Like, chances created is the most fugazi stat I've ever seen. If you have a look at the passing maps, and if you have a look at the average position graphics, you can see it's clear as day. The left hand side is disconnected from the center and the right. Like, it's literally, you've got Chilwell just on an island over here, and the rest of the team are over on this side just playing predictable cross ball. You know, we just need more variety. He's not that guy, man. 44% pass accuracy against Nottingham Forest. That's a disgrace.
It's disgraceful, man.
You know, and I kind of blame him, because I'm like, okay, you know, there's a bit of me that wants to say, you know, yeah, you're a senior football player, you shouldn't be getting a 44%, but at the same time, you've got a manager here putting him in a position where he's destined to fail. And this will not get any better unless he starts scoring goals. That's the only way this gets any better. But he doesn't seem to have that confidence in front of goal anymore. We've seen him shank shots and, you know, make passes when he should be leathering it into the bottom corner. You know, unless that side of Chilwell comes back where we were seeing him scoring goals at wing back, unless we can get that guy back, then this is a failed endeavour. And if Potts wants to die on this hill, then what a terrible hill to die on.
100%, bro. I can't even disagree with that, man. He's literally setting him up. He's setting himself up for failure, as I said before. But yeah. In regards to everyone that's still here, essentially I've got my preview stream video which I already recorded. Probably just going to upload it later onto the YouTube. That'll be available again at 9 p.m. This is probably going to be like a stream I'm going to end now, because it's not that much to talk about anyway. I just wanted to really discuss this article, because like I hadn't read it, and I heard that it was quite a big sort of stuff that they were making out, essentially. So that's what I wanted to do. And that's the stream, guys. Any like last thoughts you got, Oliver? What are your prediction for the Bournemouth game before, you know, I let you go?
I'm going to try and be positive. It's going to. I'll say 1-0 Chelsea. It's going to be jammy as all hell, though. Like, I'm not confident on the performance yet. I need to see it to believe it. But hopefully we just get the win, because, you know, at this point beggars can't be choosers. We just need points on the board. Get me some points, and then we can start talking about performances in the game after that, and so on and so forth.
Fair enough. But yeah, man. For me, again, I said Bournemouth. We need to win, clean sheet. Try to do some stuff as much as possible at the end of the day. Well, that's pretty much it, man. Like, I'm not expecting anything, you know, anything great, anything sensational. Especially when you've only got like two guys in attack, essentially. You know, I'm not expecting anything, you know, anything great from it at all. So that's pretty much it from my side at the end of the day. So it's hard, man, because like I don't want this formation, but you know, as I said to you, I said this to you. This is what I'm on from now on. Like, 1 second, let me just bring this up for everyone in chat.
As on the formation, I'm fine with the formation. I just want Palmer to play in the number 10.
Sorry, not formation. I keep saying formation for some reason.
Just lineup, you mean?
Yeah, I mean lineup, I should say.
Okay, yeah. I mean, with the lineup, I just want Chilwell off the left wing, and I want Palmer in the number 10. Whether Gallagher comes out, whether Caicedo comes out, you know, I'm actually, you know, I'm not just going to say Caicedo needs to start, because, to be honest, he's been no better than Gallagher. So between those two, whatever, just have Cole Palmer in that number 10 because with that role just needs filling. We need help there.
Fair enough. Like, this is what I've decided to do from now on. Literally, just think, to learn to back himself. Not everything needs a reaction. It's just what I'm gonna do, man. I'm just gonna wait for Chelsea. Let's do my usual stuff. Give my thoughts and opinions on the matter, and that's pretty much all that's gonna be. So that's pretty much it. So I think that's gonna be the stream, guys. Thanks again for coming along and watching the stream with us. Hopefully, you've got a bit more, of an understanding of like what the article was saying and stuff. And yeah, we move bombastically. Again, like, share, subscribe, dedicate your hearts, and as I always say, please make sure to